If you think about one of the biggest reasons why people are unsuccessful in business, it's generally because of how they feel and the meaning they've made of that based on what's happened. The people who are successful are the ones who are going, okay, yep, I have signed up for this, and I am aware that there is actually a personal development aspect, or more than that, there's this whole soul journey growth aspect to it as well.
This is The Juice. Real conversations that squeeze the truth out of the heart-centered coaching world. Look, the spiritual space loves a filtered story. 7-figure screenshots, trust your feminine mantras, and perfect morning routines. But here, we pull back the highlight reel and talk about what's actually underneath. Hey, I'm Karla Marie. I'm a business coach, mentor, and strategist. I've been through it all. 25 years in, $1 million business, built in 14 months that feels amazing, and I know what's real and what's not. If you're into unfiltered honesty, spicy takes, and zero performative bullshit, stay. If not, this probably isn't your podcast. All right, beautiful. Let's dive in. Okay, welcome to The Juice, everyone. I have a very special guest on today. Her name is Jess Read. We have made friends over Instagram. It's just one of those connections that I think, Jess, we've been around together for a while, haven't we?
Absolutely.
Following each other. And just recently, Jess reached out about the 7-figure business blueprint and wanting to gift it for her mastermind clients. And it ended up in a really beautiful conversation, and realized that we had so much in common. One of those being that we are both manifesting generators. And I was like, okay, we need to get you on the podcast and talk about this. So I want to introduce the beautiful Jess Read. She's a heart-centered business coach, and she works with heart-centered entrepreneurs, helping them build sustainable businesses aligned to their unique energy. Jess, welcome.
Hi.
And so would you like to tell our audience what you do, who you are, and being a human design centered episode, also what your human design is as well?
Absolutely. Oh, and yeah, thank you, Carla. Our conversations in the DMs have been so juicy already. So I actually just posted a story to my audience and I was like, we're having the best conversation today. So I am so excited to be here and to chat and to have this conversation. So I am a 6/3 manifesting generator. I have an emotional authority, and I have definition from the throat down. So there's a lot of energy that comes through me a lot of the time. And it's really important that I don't skip my rest. I will just say very quickly, because that's something I've had to learn the hard way, which I know we might talk about a little bit today as well. But in terms of what I do, so as you mentioned, I am a business mentor. I have a frequency first way of doing things. So I do work with high caliber, heart centered entrepreneurs. And these women that I work with are ready to be fully seen, deeply paid, and wildly expressed in not only their business, their offers, but also in how they're living and leading as well. So the core of my work is really starts with helping these women move through that journey of survival identity where their business building likely started. And then through that really like messy rebirth pivot, that is where most people come to me. Like that is my jam, and that is so aligned with my human design as well. I will tell you that as I've sort of been through my own, well, the next part of my own journey this year, I realized only, probably about 6 weeks or so ago, just how unintentionally yet intentionally I had actually built out my whole office suite to that journey of survival identity to the pivot to the rebirth, and then coming out into building that business, that successful, sustainable, scalable business from your unique energy, but also from overflow and from a frequency that I call the fuck yes frequency. And so this is that overflow piece is, yes, your nervous system, your health, your bank account, everything coming from overflow rather than the business and then you. And I think it's just such an important place to learn to be. So my work starts with becoming the woman who can actually hold that next level identity. And I'm qualified clinical hypnotherapist, EFT practitioner. I've got about 13 modalities under my belt. So,
Mm.
in typical Manny Gen form, it's like, oh, do you want to be a alternative therapist or do you want to be a business mentor? And I'm like, I'm gonna do both. And I'm gonna
You
figure
do
out
all of them.
I'm gonna do it all. You're not gonna tell me to niche down into one of those. But I love that. Like, you've probably experienced something similar, I would imagine. I've got a few Manny Gens in my containers, and it's like all of these seemingly unrelated modalities or things that, I've got a hanging gate 16, so I'm not really going to go deep into mastering anything, right? I'm going to be the jack of all trades and the master of none. And so the
Yeah.
ability to be able for me to go, okay, I get to do this soul nourishing, deeply healing. I've got these amazing trauma techniques too. Like we can clear out. So, my signature framework, the energetics of success, clear code, align
Yeah.
code, leverage code, we can clear out from the root in a really sustainable, safe way the survival identity. Then we can
Yes.
recalibrate, we can reprogram directly through your subconscious. Then we can align not only with the human design, I bring experts into my container, I've been understanding enough to be able to
Yes.
support my clients, but we also align
Yes.
with nervous system health, season of life, and very, very values and vision driven business. So everything I do comes back to yes, but is that taking you to that vision that you've told me that you're working towards? And then we leverage the strategy. So that's where we then craft a strategy that one meets you in your new frequency and two is actually aligned with who you are so that
Yeah.
you've got much less of a chance of, I'll never
Mm.
say you won't, because even,
Mm.
even me this year, nervous system breakdown, lots of things, but not because of the business, because of obviously other emotional challenges around home and things that I couldn't escape. But so I'm not going to say you won't burn out or you won't break down or anything like that because we're human and we're living this crazy, crazy life. But that possibility becomes, I think, so much less because you are delivering in alignment. You're delivering in a way that your body actually feels safe with because you've become the identity that can hold that next level. And then, of course, we do it again when you're getting to your next level and then to your next level because
You're always hitting edges, aren't you?
yeah, and entrepreneurship is where our bigger
Yeah.
shadows are going to come forward. If you think about one of the biggest reasons why people are unsuccessful in business, it's generally because of how they feel and the meaning they've made of that based on what's happened. The people who are successful are the ones who are going, okay, yep, I have signed up for this. And I am aware that there is actually a personal development aspect, or more than that, there's this whole soul journey growth aspect to it as well. So I don't believe that we can have strategy without the frequency. And by frequency, I'm talking mind, body, energy, emotions, everything that then emits out. I don't believe we can have either without. It's lucky me, I get to blend the two together. So,
It's really interesting because I actually don't understand how it can be separate.
mm,
Because how can we put ourselves out there and, oh, this is just business now? And maybe it's because as a society, we are trained to separate ourselves into different roles. And so when we, even as heart centered women, come into this world, go, oh, okay, I need to put my business hat on now and talk in this business way and be in this business way and just push everything out to the side and then wonder why it's not working because they're ignoring a huge part of what entrepreneurship can be. Because let's face it, we're not working for other people who are telling us what to do.
yeah.
We need to guide ourselves. And in that, as you said, it requires such a deep understanding of our vision, of our mission, of the emotions that drive us, of our beliefs that drive us, everything. So, yeah, I'm all for that. I actually remember I coined right at the beginning being that manager myself. And I was like, oh, I'm a web designer, I'm a graphic designer, I'm a singer, I'm a this, and I've done everything. And in the end, it's like,
niching as a manager is not the same niching as any other.
It's not.
It's not, is it?
No.
It's like we have to concentrate on what that transformation is going to be, who we want to work with, and then use our modalities. I do remember always thinking, because I grew up in that holistic household myself, seeing everything as the whole body. And I saw that in my business as well. It's like, how can you not see that the reason why you're not actioning a strategy is because of what you believe
Yeah.
and what you feel? I coined the term back in the day, sacred strategy.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, back in 2020, it was like sacred strategy, and I did the whole kind of like branding around it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's super important.
Mm.
I do want to talk though, because we were having a little chat beforehand, as I do with all my guests, because I like to respond in the moment, about being a Manny Gen in business, especially being a 6'3" as well. I'm a 5'2", so I've had my own little journeys with the double projection line, but as a 6'3", defined from the throat down, we were talking about the chaos. Well, the perception of chaos, let's just say. I really want to talk to you, Jess, because when we were chatting, I was like, you run a mastermind with clients that sign up year after year. How, as a manager, do you do that? And we had this little discussion, and I was like, this is great. So I want you to just tell your story of where you were and how you actually got to understanding that, wow, this is actually really in alignment to me right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Even if I think back to like when my brain was going back to other business journeys that I've been on prior to this business. I'm a serial entrepreneur, and I think that may even be a Manny Gen thing in itself, because it's like, hey, we'll do this, we'll try this side, we'll do this. I mean, how many roles you just mentioned that you've also done as well. And I was thinking back to 2013, where I had a event business, but not the kind where I wanted to run events for other people, the kind where I wanted to create my own events and bring them to life. And I created this really successful health and wellness exhibition that we ran for 2 years. The first year had just under 200 exhibitors and a few thousand people through the gates. Here, same thing. We increased exhibitors, we increased numbers through, but I also was running from a lot of poor money mindset conditioning, but also a lot of other conditioning that I actually didn't really unravel until I learned about my human design. These were beliefs about myself, about me not being able to see things through, not being good enough, that primarily for me came from things like the fact that I left school halfway through year 11 because I went, you know what, no, pivot, need to be doing this. Didn't understand that at that time. Had stories of being flaky, had stories of, all of these stories that come with the pivots, that come with the multiple jobs, that come with all of those pieces. So I was running this business from that, along with some very poor money beliefs as well that I just was not aware of. And so what happened in the second year was I skipped the steps in true Manny Gen form and brought in an influencer before influencers were a thing. And she cost me far more than what I could actually afford. And then, of course, people would be like, oh, I'm a not for profit. Can I have? And I'd be like, sure, And oh, you didn't bring chairs. They cost me $8 each, but here you go. Just take the chairs. And I lost in the second year, I lost $40,000, which at 25 was a really big deal. And so then that shame was like all of those stories I had about myself, like they're right.
Yes.
They're true. And so I just ghosted it. Like I just ghosted the business and actually fell pregnant at the same time. So that was my escape route, was my first child. I had HG. So I was really ill through that pregnancy. But then what I did was I went, you know what? I'm just going to go get a safe job now. And I did. I tried that. And then the position that I ended up in was normalized that everyone was always unwell. Everyone was working 10, 11-hour days. My daughter was in daycare from 6:30 in the morning, 6:45 in the morning until 5 o'clock at night. Like it was awful, but it was also my normal at that point in time. And there were so many bits of me that I was ignoring And this all links to, again, how I understood myself with my human design. But so many bits of me that I was ignoring, so many bits of me that I was suppressing as well, that my body was like, hey, pay attention. And I was like, no, 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 I'm going to keep going over this way. So I ended up dislocating my knee, fracturing my kneecap, having a blood clot, pulmonary embolism, all while my daughter was like 18 months old. Ended up needing knee surgery, all of these things that then happened that then led to panic disorder and severe health anxiety. So again, my body was apart, but my brain was like, oh, well, everyone falls apart. This is normal. That was one of those, not even a wake up call. Like, that wasn't even my wake up call yet. It wasn't until I had my second daughter, where by that stage, the panic disorder had gotten so bad that I don't know how I was functioning. I was running a team of 40, $16 million staffing budgets. There was big things I was doing. Everyone thought I was fine. She's really successful and she's doing all these things. And let's add ADHD and things
Oh,
as well.
and hormones.
Hormones, everything. So yeah, I was one of those people who looked like I was functioning, but I'm running a staff meeting with my heart in SVT at 180 beats per minute, dissociated, and nobody knew. And so I forced through that for so long that eventually, when I had Amelia, my second child, who's just about to turn 6, the panic just overtook me. And that's when one day it was COVID lockdown at the very beginning of when Amelia was born. And I was scrolling through Instagram and I saw this post that was like, if you're anxious, try this. And it was tapping. And I'd never even heard of it. And I was like, do you know what? I'll try anything. I'm so desperate. I don't care if I look stupid. We'll just do it anyway. From there, I started to get relief. So then I was like, oh, I'm going to learn about this. And then I just never went back to my job, because as my nervous system actually started to calm down, I started to feel that little bit more in touch with it. Opened that door to me reconnecting with who I was, and that entrepreneurial spirit of me that first came out when I was 12 years old, it came back. And so then this business actually started with me working with EFT and then clinical hypnotherapy, meditation therapy, and other energy and somatic modalities, working with primarily stress and anxiety. And then I've been in a mastermind for 5 years, and my mentor straight away was like, why aren't you mentoring business? You have a skill, like you have this strength. Why aren't you mentoring in strategy and business? And I was like, well, I lost $40,000. Who's going to want to learn from me? Then I started learning about my human design and realized that me losing that money, me having the channel of struggle, the channel of crisis, me being here to really transmute. I know, lucky me, right? I'm the channel of struggle and the channel. I need to write a book.
You do.
But I guess
Crazy, babe.
it really started to show me, though, first of all, the amount of shame I let go of. Oh, I'm meant to actually make mistakes. I'm meant to get my hands dirty to know whether that's for me or not. I'm actually not meant to master these things. It's okay. Okay that I have these emotional waves. It's okay that I don't know the answers, even though I know the answers. But someone says something and I want to say, I don't know. And then I feel stupid. But actually, I'm just undefined up the top. Like, it's okay. I'm not meant to be certain. It's okay. This has started clicking in. Actually joined a mastermind, a second one. This was run by a ManiGen, specifically for ManiGens in business. And I just started pulling apart the way I was running my business, because initially it was like, okay, membership, and we'll structure it in the same way that we've seen all the big people structure their memberships. And I didn't want to be delivering. I had this resistance to the masterclasses and to the Facebook groups. And of course I do. I've got a defined throat. You can't talk on a Facebook group. It was, so I started actually not only understanding myself, which in life and healing helped so much, and then self-expression and everything too. But I really started then curating my business and my containers in a way that really honored me. So in my incarnation cross, one of the channels is the channel of intimacy. I'm a 59, 55, and 916 in my incarnation cross. And there's this real emotional depth and emotional intimacy combined with this expression. as I bring all of that together and I think about the way that now my business looks, you asked, how do you run a mastermind? And I think you asked that question because I was celebrating that 6 of my original ladies, it was a
Yes.
100% return rate from last year, and we only lost 1 from the year before. So 3-year renewal in a long-term high ticket offer as a Manny Gen, like most
Oh,
people are doing like, no.
I was like, what?
Yeah.
Aren't you bored?
Another thing is, and I guess there's that secondary strategy of informing. I tell people when they come into
Mm,
my world, I may pivot this. Like, this
mm,
is how it is for now. And the way that I've structured the call calendar and everything, yes, I turn up, the same time 3 times a month, but I've set up
okay.
my calls in a way that I can actually be really playful in them. So I don't pre plan them very often. I very much
Mm,
respond to the needs of the group. I've
mm,
set it up in a way we primarily work through Slack so that I can communicate in the way that best suits me. I tell people that I have an emotional wave. So sometimes you might get a response from me straight away, but sometimes you
mm,
might wait. That means
yeah.
you're going to get my best answer. And then the ability to be able to rebrand the container if I need to, which I've just recently.
Mhm.
We've just gone from
Yes.
Transcendence Mastermind into Overflow the Mastermind. I've up
Mm.
leveled, everything about me has shifted. So now my containers need to shift as well. But they know that about me and they come in informed of that as well. And I think that gives me a lot of safety then in it feeling like I can hold a longer term space.
So important.
Mm.
I really want to talk into that because I think with many gens, I go, I can't commit to something because what if I change my mind? And I feel that the belief around changing your mind is the thing that needs the work rather than the changing your mind. We are allowed to change our mind. I did the same thing with authority era. It's like you come into my world. I don't plan my calls as well. I will respond in the moment. But I think the one thing that managers maybe need to understand is that we don't just respond, but we also need to inform. So, as long as, because we've got the manifestor,
Mm.
we also need to let people know, hey, this is how we work. If you're okay with it, please come with me.
Yes.
If you're not, and it's going to stress you out, then maybe we're not the right fit. And that's where that confidence in yourself. So it is really about the shame, isn't it? The shame around being flaky, the shame around
Yeah.
changing your mind, the shame around evolving, the shame around being lit up by something in the moment and wanting to share it,
Yeah. And
I think.
that fear of what if I change my mind? My brain was like, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
And,
Um,
and it's really interesting to see because my ex-husband is a 1-3 manager.
mm,
He was brought up thinking you need to stick to something,
yes.
get really good at it. The shame around not sticking to something, not seeing something through was really heavy. Whereas I grew up and my grandparents were like, what's Karla doing now? She just left a job because she didn't like it. She'll find another one. So I never really had the shame around going to chase my dreams and my vision. So I've always been like, nope, this is what I want to do and I'm going to go and get it. However, as I grew older,
Mm,
maybe I need to tell people what I'm doing first
mm.
before. And I think that's where it needs to change. It's like, don't just pivot and zigzag without telling people. You can still tell people and zigzag at the same time. So,
Absolutely. Something
yeah.
like I actually am still mastering with my team. I feel like I do that really well with my clients. Other thing I was
Yes.
going to say that makes this particular container really spacious for me is the fact that I have co-coach in there as well. And so that then
Oh,
allows me to be able to be in my wave, for example, and still be present. But hey, can you take more this week? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's sort of, I've just kind of built myself that because it's come from the question of how can I not only build it in a way that I can sustain it, but also how can I build a really intimate, really high touch, long term container with my value of spaciousness as well.
wow.
So
That seems like two opposite things,
yeah.
doesn't it?
Right.
But because your incarnation cross has that channel of intimacy as well,
Mhm.
it's very important that you follow that.
Yeah,
So
and that I'm directly involved
congratulations.
with a lot of things too. I find,
Yeah.
and maybe that's a little belief I've had to break a little bit. Like when I think about how do you create a lead magnet, for example, with that still intimacy. It's like, okay, well, maybe that's through video and it's through, you know what I mean? Like I'm still
Yes,
exploring and I'm breaking the belief of you can't scale intimacy.
you
Moment.
can.
Yeah, I logically know that. I'm breaking that belief at the moment. But
Yeah.
I think in terms of that container, high touch was really important. It's one of the things that for me really stands out about it is the fast Slack responses, the not having to wait for answers until a call. Like those types of things were really important to me when I was thinking about delivery, but spaciousness from the lens of, again, my nervous system health, but also from the lens of the fact that I want to live my life and I want to be present at school drop off and pick up. And, you know, I want to have my Freedom Fridays and all of that as well. Really important that those questions were asked when designing any container, but particularly one that was really high touch and that I didn't plan. Well,
Mm.
I don't have any plans at the moment to can it so we can pivot within it, and I did. I recently pivoted, as I said, the branding, but then just only a few months ago I really felt like there was a direction it needed to go in terms of the calls, and so I pivoted that. And then I just didn't, well, I didn't inform first because I needed to make the decision and lead in this particular case, but
Of course.
yeah, I informed. But as I said, I'd already
Yeah.
informed that we may pivot, so it's like it's in the contract.
That's it.
Yeah.
I feel that when people don't inform and then it just happens, then it's like, whoa, whoa, what's happening? And doesn't create a sense of safety with your client.
Yeah.
So, you know, from both sides, it's just a communication and setting your
Yeah.
standards and going, hey, this is what you're coming into, expectations.
Yeah.
It goes across all energy types, setting expectations
Yeah.
for what people are coming into.
Mhm.
So I have all of I'm pretty much all open,
Mm.
like not just undefined, but open.
That fascinates.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I have the channel of charisma, channel of acceptance, channel of ordering. So
Mhm.
it's got the genius to free channel. And it's just like my mind is like this. And being a 5-2 as well, I do want to say that when you understand your human design, how much of that shame shifts, doesn't it?
So much.
You go,
So much.
oh, that 2 line of mine I always thought was my Achilles heel.
Mm.
Oh, I can't be consistent. But I can see that with the 3. I have a lot of 1-3s come to me
Yeah.
with the same shame around I can't stick to anything. And I think it's really, really important to be able to just go, okay, this is who I am and I'm going to create around me. And obviously this is the core of my business as
Yeah.
well. So I want to talk to you about authority.
Mhm.
So when it comes to making these decisions, so yes, we've got our energy type, our profiles, but the authority of following our authority now, many gens out there, you either have a sacral or an emotional, but we're all defined sacral. With you're an emotional authority. I would love to hear from you and how you've experienced it, how you make decisions with that emotional as a Manny Gen. Because I know with me, it's just like, yep, feel it, don't feel it. That's it. So, yeah, talk to me about
It's
that.
kind of challenging, I won't lie. And it is something that honestly, even now, 4 years into trying to, you know, learn more about my human design and unravel it all, it still does trip me up. So one piece of the emotional authority was actually, again, another shame piece, another really self-acceptance piece as well. I have these waves and I do deeply feel them. I really deeply do. And I actually wondered for a little while, like, oh, is there some kind of bipolar thing going on here? Sometimes the low is so quick and it's just this little flatness and you move through it. But sometimes the low for me could last months. Or it could be, you know, I'm so fine 1 minute and then I'm just kind of not. And it's like, what is going on? Like, you know, and so then when I actually learned, okay, but this also informs the way that I'm supposed to make my decisions and actually lead that final say. I'm supposed to make decisions not only from what my body has gotten really excited about, which, you know, I've obviously done and gotten myself into all sorts of trouble. Actually, the most simplest example I can give you is learning about my emotional authority and how much money it saved me in online shopping. So I would be on my phone and I'd be like, yes, I want this thing. I need to buy it. I want to buy it. Look at those cute shoes. And then I learned about my emotional authority. I started just putting things in the cart and just leaving it there. And then the next day I'd come back to it 9 out of 10 things gone. Learning to say, let me think about that, so that I'm not
Oh,
saying yes. So, someone coming in, hey, Jess, do you want to come on my podcast? Do you want to do this thing? Do you want to go out for dinner? I'm actually really learning to say, let me think about that. Or sure, I'll just get back to you.
yeah.
And then feeling that wave to sort of know, okay, well, we've had a high, we've had a low, and now we're neutral. And so it's more making a decision then from a real, more neutral place, but knowing that I emotionally feel good about it. And for me, my sacral is very noisy. I don't know if yours is too, but I'm like, oh, I like that. Oh,
It goes through waves. Sometimes I just don't respond for weeks and I'm like, oh, okay.
yeah. And that's the
Yeah.
same. So sometimes I won't respond, but then we also go through that emotional authority as well. And then it's like, okay, then now I think I've had a response. Sometimes I'm still having to come back to that embodiment and just like, okay, yes, now I have had the response to that. But after the emotional authority has, I say, ridden its wave, you're either going to, and I think it's the same with a pure sacral as well, in the sense like you could have a response, but then not have the energy to move ahead with that for a certain period of time too. Yeah, it's the same with that. I could have the response to something. I then need to wait until I've had that wave. And then if the energy is still there, it's a definite yes. It's a little bit frustrating for someone who moves so damn quickly. Like,
That's what I was thinking.
what you'll find is if I am in alignment and I have had my sacral yes, and then I've actually intentionally been like, no, just wait it out. Even if it's, sometimes you can have a wave in 10 minutes. So it's not always that we're having to wait days, weeks, but sometimes it is weeks or months.
Yeah, yeah.
But once that's happened, and I'm sure you would probably be the same, when I'm in that alignment piece, and then I know with that emotional clarity that I can move forward, I can create, oh gosh, we can do a whole course recorded, done in a day. Like,
Yep.
everyone's like, you did what?
It's like, yeah, but I didn't do anything for months before.
Well, that's right. But I actually was in a low for about 3 weeks before that, and I had absolutely no energy. And I chose to not move forward because of that, because I'm choosing to honor the way that my body is actually responding. So it can be frustrating. But what I can tell you is what I have learned. What I have learned is that I think about even some strategies just as recent as last year. Someone suggesting something to me, my open head, and Ajna being like, oh, it must be true. That person's saying it and they must have had a defined head too. So I'm defined heads. And then overridden it with my mind. And then I'm doing it from a place of proving. And then all of a sudden I've got this whole strategy and this launch happening that wasn't landing. Feel that amazing for me, yet I pushed through thinking, well, this must be the right thing to do. And then it wasn't until sort of even after actually going through with that launch where my energy just crashed. And I was like, of course it did, because I told myself, but I'd actually completely overridden my body with my mind and with, all of those not self themes that come from up here. And I've ended up on this pathway, but I need to be back on this pathway. And so that's fine. We pivot back again, but it's definitely a lesson, and definitely a big lesson for me in the sense of not overriding my body with my mind. And my mentors know to ask me that as well now too. Like, I'm really
I ask all my clients, they go, what do you reckon I should do? And I said, what do you feel in your body that you should do? Because yes, this is a good strategy, but is it a good strategy for you right now?
Yeah.
And do you have the capacity in your life? Do you have, there's so much, and it's so easy strategy is just a plan.
Yeah.
Strategy is easy. There's not that many strategies out there.
That's right.
What do you think I should do?
Yeah.
And not seeing that, oh, I've got the kids at the moment, or I've got to do all of these different things and my life is so full and I juggle this, and this. But hey, I want to just like do a mastermind where I'm doing back-to-back clients all the time. And it's really coming back to, hey, do you have the capacity for this?
Yeah.
And if the question is not really, then it's like, okay, well then how do we go back to the drawing board and design a business around your life?
Yeah.
because there's so many different ways to do it. And the other thing that really came back with what you just said is you need to really you really need to just feel into your body, don't you? Do you find not having a defined, are you open or is it undefined, like your head and ajna?
Yeah, my head is completely open and then my ajna is undefined.
Yeah. So you would have the pressure to want to know immediately and having to kind of override that.
Yeah.
And so you would probably find in your not self going out there trying to find answers and asking, what should I do? And in your self, you'll be like, okay, I'm just going to block everything off and I'm going to come back here into my body and I'm just going to wait for the answers.
Yeah.
That's not really easy to do, is it?
It's not.
When you
It's not. And it goes against all the traditional things that you're taught as well in school. And it goes against the whole doing mentality of doing more, hustling harder, all of that. It goes against everything that most people are taught and most people think they have to do. The way that I get my clarity in my body is by stepping away from my desk and just doing something else, washing the dishes, sitting out in the grass. The more I sit there and I'm like, oh, I've got a deadline. This is how it used to be. You just come from what you know to be normal.
Yeah.
Mondays. And so that is content day. And so that is, we've got this deadline. And then I haven't got anything planned. When I was trying to initiate something that wasn't mine to initiate, I needed to respond. And the only way I do that is to respond in life. And I think that's one of the biggest lessons that any sacral could really take away is like nearly every second conversation that I have with someone who's in that state of frustration, it's like, well, you're trying to initiate it.
But it's so interesting that people don't know how to respond.
No.
It's almost like it's a whole relearning of how do I do this now?
Yeah.
What does that actually feel like? I just think it's the most beautiful personal development to be able to know how you work so that you can build a business of your dreams. Like literally, I had to fall apart as well, Jess. It's unfortunately, we do that. Burn the fuck out, hit the wall, disappear for a while going, oh my God, I need to do something safe. Like when you were talking at the beginning, I was like, yep. Same with everything that happened with the children as well. You get to a point where you go, I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah.
How do I design it around me?
Yes.
And that's when you'll see the success as a manager.
Yeah.
I am just so super happy to hear where you've come from, what you've created for yourself, that you have created a group that is so beautifully intimate. And of course, we're all learning. We're all still learning. Like, I don't care how much money you're making. It's like, it's not the money, it's our journey. It's our journey into it.
What you go, the deeper leadership you take on, you are always going to be faced. I love the analogy of the video game. You can't get to the next level without the challenge first. You've got to defeat the bad guy. You have to defeat that before you can get to the next level. And your personal journey as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, it's not different. To me, it's, we get our ascension symptoms. And if you're not recognizing those as ascension symptoms, or you're not recognizing your not self themes, you're not recognizing all of those pieces that we learn to understand ourselves with, then you stay in that same cycle and wonder why you're hitting that glass ceiling over and over again, or sabotaging, or continually attracting the same clients who, whatever they're doing. But then when you can recognize that actually this is me trying to literally say goodbye to an identity that is not leading my next level. And that's why, like, the breakdowns, and I've preached this for so long, but especially this year, they do have to happen. And no one can actually avoid them. They may not be catastrophic, but they will be something. And, someone said to me the other day, Jess, I feel like I'm in a washing machine. Is that because I'm about to have my breakthrough? And I was like, yes, you have to go through the washing machine. I said to her, what are you calling in? Like, what is it that you're asking for? And she's like, oh, I don't know, not much, just health, happiness, and money. And I was like, okay, so what are your challenges? Well, I've got all these health scans and, this has happened in my family and money's been going out faster than it's been coming in. I'm like, this is your opportunity to now look at the identity that you've been leading with, because if you want to hold that next level client, that next level leadership, that next level health, happiness, freedom, or money or whatever it is, you do have to lead with a more embodied identity. And understanding your human design, I believe, helps you get to that
Ah,
so much faster, but also in, a peaceful, aligned, satisfying way. But yeah.
it's such a brilliant tool for it, isn't it? It depends how far you push,
Mhm.
though.
Yes.
You could very easily just go, oh, I can feel this is kind of not in alignment at the moment. And I'm witnessing myself doing this and this or feeling like this. And then if you keep pushing and keep pushing, your body's going to scream at you, or it's going to whisper at you first. And then it's
Yeah.
just going to scream at you
Yeah.
because it will always come back to your body. Always.
Absolutely. Like
Yeah.
that awareness in itself is life changing because for so many, and I know I was in that place before all of this work, I was in a role where everyone else who was doing that role in other schools and they were also unwell. They were also working,
Yeah.
their bodies were also screaming at them too, but we just kind of normalize it. It's sad and it's scary. But for you to have that
But
awareness that your body is talking to you, all that discomfort,
yeah.
all that anxiety is back. I can share just a little, I won't go into much depth because I've shared what I've been through this year, but not details on the why because the why involves other people. So there was a big, big disconnect between what I deeply value, what I'm creating in my life, and other things that were happening around me. And what eventually happened at the beginning of this year was that my nervous system went, these challenges here are inescapable. And I just completely collapsed back into panic disorder, back into agoraphobia, like frozen shut down till lunchtime, just really deeply, deeply collapsed. But as I started to come out the other side of it 6 months later, I will say, and I will just say, because I understand the way that I work and because I had designed a business with leverage systems that aligned to me, I was still able to hold well over six figures in that breakdown piece without actually having to show up. As I started to unravel what was going on there and realize that there were some huge value misalignments in the sense of the way I wanted to live and that innate urge that I had been really ignoring. I did so well in my business, but I had been ignoring in my life. And it's hard when other people are in the decision making factors and things and there are personal things going on. But I needed to pivot. I had these desires and this huge pivot. I needed change. I needed to pivot. And I'm like stuck here. And that's when my body went, holy shit, you're stuck. You can't escape this. You can't go and make those changes. You can't do those things. You're stuck. And I shut down. And that was a really big understanding and understanding it from the lens of my human design. Again, coming out the other side, it's like, well, one, I'd suppressed so much of myself.
Yeah.
I was scared to say fuck on the internet. Like and now it's a part of my brand in the sense of the frequency, that fuck yes frequency. But I needed to pivot and I was suppressing other parts of me that I wasn't allowing myself to fully express. And it's really
Yes.
interesting that the way that my body then went, oh, okay, maybe this is inescapable and we shut down. But when I think about it from that need for change, that need for pivot, that excitement overriding my emotional authority,
Oh
wanting
my
to be
God, I
bigger
feel
than
that.
everybody else's opinions about what you should and shouldn't be doing. It's
Yeah.
hard. Like that's
Yes.
real life hard stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God,
But it
I
has
know.
a
I've gone through
physical,
that this year as well, personally.
it has a physical
Yeah,
repercussion in your body.
it
Mineral
really
was
does.
depleted. Every core thing, like
Oh,
everything of mine, SIBO in my gut, hormones, my body wasn't metabolizing cortisol. So I was waking up frozen until lunchtime because of all of that. I have the skills. I help people in this situation. Welcome back, imposter syndrome, and all of those things. But I had to go through that to understand the identity that was then leading that, and then actually also understand, like with my defined root and my defined emotional center, I don't need to fear. I have the capacity to have these conversations. I have the
oh yeah.
capacity to deal with it. It was that open piece and it was everybody else's logic. And then me believing I was trapped for a Manny Gen that wanted so badly to pivot. And I'd had all of the internal messages to do so. your body tells you.
I am just sitting here, just nodding, going, we need to be best friends because we've got the same life. It's like so similar. Everything, your story is like my story. It's really, really similar. I went through the same thing this year as well.
Mm,
You know, just like when other people are involved and you can't do anything, and knowing that as Gens, we can make things happen like this. You know, we can move mountains, but when you're trapped and you can't, it's almost like your body freezes
yeah,
in a spot and you're just like, oh, and you collapse.
yeah.
And the other thing I want to say to that is anyone out there who has struggled with anything like this, look, I've also had many clients come to me and go, how can I say this if I have broken down, if I have gone through these things? I don't fucking trust anyone who hasn't.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, I've never had to worry about my income going down. I've never had to worry about this. So I can make money anytime I want to. All right, see you later.
Mm.
I want to know the people who have struggled,
Yeah.
who have gotten through things, who have understood the intricacies and the nuances of that struggle, because then they will be able to see me and understand me in my struggles. I don't see anybody else that hasn't gone through their struggles to actually understand.
Yeah.
Oh, just do some deep breaths.
Like
Off.
I'm still driving. The longest part of my
Yeah.
recovery is coming from the driving. That's happened the most.
Oh,
And so that was like, but then you think about that being, yeah, debilitating all year too, in the sense of, well, I just stopped. I stopped driving,
yeah.
struggled to, it's funny, for a little while, like living again was my edge. But now that I am, gosh, it feels good. Essentially like learning to live again. Isn't it funny? Like, but I completely agree. And those little imposter moments that came in, I had to have the same conversation with myself.
Mm.
I was embodying everything that I believe, everything that I teach. I was getting help. I didn't shy away from, I wasn't as present on mastermind calls, like as in the ones that I was present in, but I was
Yeah.
still, I didn't say, oh, well, I better just get rid of my business mentorships because I'm struggling. I did everything that I embody, and I
Yeah.
gave myself time as well, which I think
Mm.
is the biggest thing that probably would have tripped me up. Like I said, I was running meetings dissociated.
Yeah. Yeah.
All of those pieces, like, it's like, Jess, it's okay. And I deeply, deeply believe, as I think I mentioned before, we go through these experiences for a reason, even if we don't know what that
Oh,
is.
yes.
But the other side of it, for me, I know
Mm.
has always come with not only a lesson that I've obviously taken
Mm.
in my own soul's journey, but it's always come with a lesson that has benefited the people that I work with. And so I
Yes.
know that there is always a service led, like it's not, I just remind myself, and for my kids too, obviously, but that's probably the only thing that kept me going. One of the key things that kept me going through this year was like the other
Mm.
side of this is one
Mm.
going to be phenomenal for me. And it's like that, if you can go through your challenges and remind
Yeah.
yourself of that, you are struggling, but are you doing the things that you tell your people to do when they struggle? Amazing. Like,
Then you're in integrity.
then you're in integrity.
I feel the only time that you're
You're human.
exactly.
Life is hard sometimes, like, and we're human.
Life is fucking
And
hard.
not having an emotional experience, then you're dead. Okay.
Totally.
It's okay. Like, let's normalize. I get a little worked up around this conversation. Like, let's
Oh
normalize
my God.
humanness in business.
You know, what shits me off so badly is when people go, oh, you've reached. So this is the one thing that I really committed to is showing the full journey, not just the highlight reel, not just, hey, I'm making 80 to 100 to 130K a month. I'm healed now. I'm wonderful. And then the only time that becomes out of integrity is if you only show highlight reels.
Yeah.
If you portray something that is not actually happening behind the scenes,
Yeah.
then when you struggle, you will feel like, oh no, I can't keep up appearances.
Yeah, that's right.
When you show up as a human, Like, yeah, we don't need to bleed over our audiences. Yeah, we don't need to emotionally trauma dump or anything like that. I still believe in discernment and when we share our deep, personal, sacred journeys. But if you, like to say this morning, I woke up, I'm dealing with a little bit of insomnia at the moment. I can't get to sleep. I'm 50, I'm going through perimenopause. It's just a symptom of what I'm going through. And it fucks me up in the morning a little bit.
Absolutely.
And it's real, it's here. There's no shame about talking about these kind of things because guess what? Everybody out there are going through really similar things. If you're listening to us, beautiful Manjans or anybody that's out there dealing with some kind of imposter syndrome, yes, there is a fine line of embodying. You need to embody what you teach. I truly believe that. But it doesn't mean you have to be perfect. It doesn't mean you don't have to be human as long as you are embodying what you teach.
Exactly.
In its fullness and entirety. So, Jess, we're going to wrap up the conversation. This has just been such a yes, conversation. I've got some quick fire questions I want to ask you, and I ask every single guest. And it's one of those ones where I just go, don't think about it, top of your head, let's go kind of thing. So it's called Spill the Juice. And it's just like the first thing you think of, okay?
Okay.
So there's 4 of them. Okay, strategy you ditched.
Membership models. Yeah. My open head's like,
It's so funny. I've got a membership model, but I don't run it the same way as memberships do. I may or may not show up.
yeah. And like that regular masterclass promise, like that. Yeah. And also Facebook groups. I ditch Facebook groups.
Oh, no.
There's a lot of strategies I've actually ditched.
All right, guilty pleasure in business.
Oh,
Well, it's just like your guilty pleasure, but actually helps grow your business.
this is a randomest answer.
I know.
Oh my God.
No, you said something
that.
before. You were saying freedom. What are your Freedom Fridays?
Fridays are essentially just the Friday is for me. Friday is that like completely guilt-free. And you know what? If I get really excited about something, if I pull out the laptop, amazing. But it's like Friday is the day that I get to just do whatever I want. Like if I just want to hang out in my activewear all day, if I want to just watch something, which I don't really get to do with the kids, hogging the TV all the time. If I want to go somewhere, if I want to catch up with a friend, like it's just that freedom to be able to not have to be on. And I actually used to have them though as Freedom Mondays because all of last year and the year before, I had that ingrained. It was like a somatic pattern that I had to break with that anxiety before a Monday, even though I have to not work Mondays. I have to put a really big circuit breaker in this. But yeah, I'm one of those alternative health people that do a lot of things to really look after myself. So sometimes my Freedom Fridays are like coffee enemas and like going in my lymphatic drainage suit. Like, you know what I mean? Like I look after my body in ways that some people may not.
No, I like to go and get my poop flushed out.
But no,
there's a lot of people that would resonate with that one.
Looking
Get used to me.
Yeah. Looking after myself in ways that, I know you get. We get it. You get it. You know.
Yeah.
And they're all my guilty pleasures. I don't skip on my well-being. It just
Nice.
Yeah.
There was a point a few years ago, I'd go over to my mum and stepdad's and I'd smell coffee and I know that they don't drink coffee and I know what that was for.
I have so much energy afterwards. I was so sluggish and struggling to, I don't know the exact terminology, but because the cortisol wasn't detoxing and whatnot, like we've worked on my liver all year this year.
It's brilliant. Anyone who is feeling sluggish, I grew up in a functional health background. I could have gone that way actually. So, but I chose this way. All the management stuff, but yeah, the liver is so important. Okay. So I'm going to ask you a spicy question. It'll be the last question. What is one unpopular opinion that needs to be said?
Oh, okay. So I actually said this the other day. I deeply, deeply believe that moving forward with our content marketing, that if you are not willing to face your visibility wounds, so that you can actually speak, be seen, show up fully expressed in your full opinion, in your fullest of energy. I want to actually really separate here, because the amount of people who say, but I'm so authentic, I already show up so authentically. I'm actually not talking about that. You're authentic, but I can almost guarantee that at the end of that statement, it's, yeah, but I wouldn't share this. Or, oh, oh, what if they judge me on this? And I'm not saying to share things that completely destroy your brand, but I'm talking about letting people see you for what you believe, coffee enemas and all, letting people
Mm.
see you in that full expression of who you are. That is an edge for a
Yeah.
lot of people. There's a lot of talk that I know I have heard from a lot of big entrepreneurs who are saying, if your content doesn't have that point of view, everything's drowned out, right? So unless you've got
Yep.
Karla's 7-figure business blueprint, because then it's very much you. But yeah, I think I've said that recently, and I don't know if it's so much an unpopular opinion, but it is definitely one that I know will confront a lot of people, particularly after the whole faceless business movement. That works for you, but for me and for the people that I work with, if they don't know you, then you will end up hitting a very big wall in your business, because your clients are
Yes.
probably going to be misaligned, and
Yeah.
all of those pieces. So list embodiment that I believe is going to be a lot of edges for most entrepreneurs. And if they're not willing to see those wounds, meet that level of healing, move from I'm authentic, but if my hormonal acne is bad, I won't record something, like move from all of those things, then you will disappear, is my thoughts.
I love that.
That's right, because there's a lot of safe jobs out there.
And that's okay too. It's like if you're not willing to meet those edges and be visible, also knowing that I'm hugely visible on ads. Went to dinner with my ex-husband and my daughters yesterday because of my daughter's graduation. And he was like, yeah, all of my dates see your ads all the time. It's really interesting. It's also being willing to be misunderstood.
Yes.
And not having to explain yourself all the time.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, well, I'm out there doing my thing. If you want to make a judgment of me, that's okay.
Yeah.
But if you want to come into my world, so in I think my third, you probably would have received this email as well. I share my whole story with my people, because it's not just about making sales for me. It's about sharing why I do this, because my intentions are fucking genuine. It's like, I don't want any woman to ever find themselves in a situation where they cannot support themselves. And it doesn't mean about stepping into hypermasculinity, but it means being able to hold yourself and really being able to know that you can do this. That story is just, it gets so many replies from women who are just like, oh my God, I'm going through the same thing, and thank you for sharing that with me. So anyone out there, please share your story. Your story has the ability to move hearts and to really separate yourself from the people who are just selling offers. They're just making a quick buck out there.
Absolutely. And when you think about the possible impact of that, and particularly if you've struggled through something where you maybe felt like you were alone or something, as you were going through it, something that I teach in one of my programs that is all about going from the survival identity to the rebirth piece. Not just strategy, that we're talking about impact. And obviously we're very impact driven entrepreneurs. And when you ask yourself and you're getting into that piece where it's like, oh, should I? What if people judge? What if, all of those things? And I get that too. Me being visible in my ads, I've had people comment because I've got blonde hair, blue eyes, and big boobs. And so you can imagine some of the trolly, disgusting comments from whatever they are. But something that I ask my clients to reflect on is the what if I don't do this pathway. And a really quick example of that. So a couple of years ago, my best friend, who was 34, she just passed away randomly. She ended up with a blood clot in her carotid artery, had a stroke, and within 3 days she had passed. And I was thinking at the time, I wasn't working with business owners at that time. I was working with people who were reducing their stress. And there's a lot of clinical evidence with EFT on the reduction of cortisol and the reduction of stress and how it can be used in that and trauma and other things. And I started thinking about my beautiful friend. And I was thinking about that, like, what if I didn't do this piece in terms of like, if your launch didn't go the way that you wanted it to, or all that sort of thing. You're not just here just for the money. What if someone found a free EFT video? And I want you, if you're listening, to apply this to your business in whatever capacity you do. So I was thinking, what if someone found a free EFT tapping video and they just watched that one free video on YouTube or Instagram over and over again? And every time they did that, they were lowering their cortisol. And then what if that lowering of cortisol meant that their blood didn't clot? And then they didn't end up, having something that then caused a stroke that then left 2 children without a mother. What if that one video, I would never know, but what if that one video that I was iffy about doing, because at that point in time, I didn't know many people who knew what tapping was.
Yeah.
What if I wasn't willing to put myself out there to look
Yeah.
silly, to do things that no
Yeah.
one around me in my immediate circle understood as well? So it's a very extreme example,
Yeah.
like a very extreme example. But
Not really, actually.
have them go through, what if I
Yeah.
don't, as well as
Yeah.
and so
Yeah.
that's the question you need to ask yourself as well, is not only is what is that ripple that I have, but what are the implications potentially if I don't? And then
Yeah.
all of a sudden we're removing like that whole piece of, it's not just about you and your struggle. And because we are so impact driven, it will help you to move through
Yeah.
that challenge of being visible in a way that is at your
Yes.
next edge.
I think that's so important, darling. That's so important. And I think, that's a really beautiful ending to wrap this up in. I don't have anything to add to that. That's really powerful. Thank you so much, Jess, for coming on
Welcome.
and sharing your wisdom and sharing your journey and sharing for all the Manny Gens out there. I'm a 5'2" Manny Gen. Jess is a 6'3" Manny Gen emotional authority. You have just had a little masterclass on how to transcend what you feel and what you believe, the shame around your chaos, and I've done that in little rabbit ears, into something really powerful. So I'll just wrap it up, and thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
And that's a wrap. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you enjoyed this episode. All show notes and relevant links are listed below for you to dive into. And if you're hungry for more truth bombs and real conversations, follow along weekly by hitting the subscribe button, and you'll be notified as soon as the next one drops. Anyway, I can't wait to be back in your ears on the next episode of The Juice. Ciao, ciao.